The year 2026 is no longer just a date on the calendar for Formula One fans. It is a looming shadow, a tectonic shift, that is already reshaping the grid before a single wheel has turned under the new regulations. We are currently witnessing the most aggressive arms race in the history of motorsport. It isn't just about aerodynamics or side pod designs anymore. We are entering the era of the secret engine war, a battle fought in high-tech dyno rooms in Maranello, Milton Keynes, and Brixworth. And at the center of this storm sits one man, Lewis Hamilton. His shock move to Ferrari wasn't just a sentimental choice to wear the red suit. It was a calculated, high-stakes gamble, based on whispers of what is happening behind closed doors regarding the 2026 power units. To understand why 2026 is causing such a panic and why Hamilton jumped ship, we have to look at the massive technical pivot. The FIA is forcing upon the teams. We are moving to a 50-50 split between internal combustion and electrical power. The MGU-H, that incredibly complex and expensive piece of engineering, that recycled exhaust heat, is being scrapped. In its place, the MGU-K is being beefed up to produce nearly 350 kilowatts of energy. That is a gargantuan jump. If you think the current cars are heavy and hard to manage, the 2026 power units present a nightmare scenario for engineers. How do you keep the battery charged enough to prevent clipping at the end of long straights? Rumors from the paddock suggest that some manufacturers are struggling big time. There are whispers that the Red Bull Ford powertrain project is hitting hurdles, leading to Max Verstappen's camp looking nervously at the exit door. But in Maranello, the mood is different. The word is that Ferrari's 2026 combustion engine is already hitting efficiency targets that have left rivals stunned. This is the secret that Lewis Hamilton likely saw. When Fred Vasseur sat down with Lewis, he didn't just show him a legacy, he showed him the data. He showed him a power unit project that promises to reclaim the throne of the fastest engine on the grid. But let's talk about the Ferrari nightmare headlines we've been seeing lately. Transitioning to a new team is never easy, especially when that team is the most scrutinized sporting entity on the planet. For Lewis, the move to Ferrari in 2025 is a bridge. It's a year of adaptation, of learning the Italian way of working before the real war starts in 26. However, the pressure is already mounting. Every time Hamilton has a tough weekend at Mercedes now, the critics shout that he's washed. Every time Ferrari makes a strategic blunder, the fans worry Lewis is walking into a disaster. But if you look at the long game, Lewis isn't playing for 2024 or even 2025. He is playing for that record-breaking 8th world title that he feels was stolen in Abu Dhabi, and he believes the 2026 regulations are his best shot. While Hamilton looks to the future, the rest of the grid is in chaos. Look at McLaren and Oscar Piastri. The Piastri disaster in Melbourne, as the sensationalists call it, was a heartbreaker for the home crowd. But it highlights the razor-thin margins of the current ground effect era. Teams like McLaren, who are customers of Mercedes, face a terrifying question. Will their supplier give them a nerfed version of the 2026 engine to ensure the works team wins? This is why the manufacturer status of Ferrari is so enticing to a driver of Hamilton's caliber: total integration, total control. Then we have the Red Bull situation. The 2026 F1 disaster theories suggest that the departure of Adrian Newey, combined with the transition to their own engines, could see the reigning kings fall to the back of the pack. Imagine a world where Red Bull is struggling for podiums while Ferrari and a resurgent Mercedes battle for the lead. It sounds impossible now, but in F1, regulation changes are the great equalizer. History has a tendency to repeat itself. The 2026 engine war isn't just about horsepower, it's about political power. The FIA is trying to make the sport more sustainable, but in doing so, they've created a technical puzzle that might be too hard to solve perfectly. We've heard drivers like George Russell and Fernando Alonso express concerns that the 2026 cars will be slugs on the straights because they'll run out of battery. The aero trick rumors are a desperate attempt to fix a problem. Lewis Hamilton knows his time in the sport is finite. He is in his last stand phase. He doesn't have 5 years to wait for a project to mature. He needs a car that works the moment the 2026 lights go out. By choosing Ferrari, he is betting on the institution that has the most resources, the most history, and perhaps the most under-the-table knowledge of how to navigate FIA regulations. We've seen Ferrari find loopholes before. So, is Hamilton's Ferrari gamble a stroke of genius or a tragic final chapter? If Ferrari delivers the class-leading engine for 2026, Lewis becomes a god in Italy. He achieves the unthinkable, winning with the three greatest teams in history, McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari, and surpassing Schumacher's record in Schumacher's own house. But if they trip, Lewis will spend his final years fighting for P7. The stakes have never been higher. Every lap in 2024 and 2025 is just a countdown to the moment the 2026 engines fire up for the first time in preseason testing. We are watching the end of one era and the frantic, violent birth of another. Between the Melbourne heartbreak for local heroes, the Hamilton spins that dominate the tabloids, the noise is deafening. But beneath the noise is the hum of a dyno in Maranello. And that hum might just be the sound of Lewis Hamilton's 8th World Championship. Stay tuned, because the 2026 disaster, or miracle, is only 2 years away. The grid as we know it is about to be torn apart and rebuilt. Formula One is changing, the engines are evolving, and the greatest driver of a generation has already made his move. The question is, who will be left standing when the smoke clears?